This is the first lecture of the operations management. First, let's see what is operations management. It can be defined as the design, operation, and improvement of the system that create the organization, goods, or service. So basically, it means the steps in between and transforming your inputs into goods or services. The role of operation is to produce and deliver the goods and services to organizations' customers. For this process, we can call as the transformation process. We are transforming the inputs into an end product or a service. Why do we need to learn operation management? That is to improve efficiency and productivity. Even in our example that we are going to analyze a factory, and then we are looking into what are the sites, what are the areas that we can improve the efficiency and productivity. That is how you manage the operation, by improving the efficiency and productivity. Decision making. So the career opportunities by you doing operation management are material executive, operation research analyst, operations manage of course, then production planner, quality control specialist, and through these roles you can climb up the ladder and get positions as manager, head, GM, CEO, or director. Where does this business get its competitive advantage? According to this module, a business gets competitive advantage from mainly three areas. The first one is the product or the service that we are giving out, the technological presentation of its product or service. If we take cars, what's the difference between a Suzuki and a BMW, Suzuki Maruti and BMW? That's the technological difference. And then the operations, the way it produces its goods and services. That's what we learn, how to gain these competitive advantages by making these operations efficient, and also the marketing, the way it is positioned itself in the market. Whether is it for low-income earners and the high-income earners, we need to market that in the right way. Through these methods, we can gain the competitive advantage. Operations as a basic function. In the business point of view, we mainly have three areas: operations, finance, and marketing. In the coming slides, we can see how these operations, finance, and marketing, the different operations under these three headings are divided: manufacturing and service industry. And then operations as a transformation process, as we discussed earlier. It's a transformation process of turning your inputs into outputs. By inputs such as materials, machine labor, management, and capital, we are doing transformation process in between and then convert them into product or services. And during this process, we can get some feedback. Even in our assignment, there is a process. We are analyzing this process, and by analyzing the entire thing, output at the process, we get some feedback. Then we use this feedback to improve this transformation and to improve input, and this continues as a cycle. Basic principles of operation management is concerned with producing and delivering products and services. As we discussed earlier, we convert our materials, information, and customers into a product and services. Almost every enterprise has an operation function. I mean, it's necessary, even though it isn't called specifically operation function. That may be called a process function, the process, anything else, something, but operation function is something necessary for any type of business. In terms of store management, the receipt storage of the goods and services, the retrieval of the products, issue, record keeping, almost everything happening inside this, happening inside or outside of this supermarket, we consider them as function of store. And so basically they are the functions that we can manage. These are the operations that we can manage. From this module, we learn how to manage those operations in an efficient way. In here, you can see a transformation process from the area of physical goods, which means manufacturing. We use inputs such as materials, raw materials, and then transform that into furniture and computers. And then location from the locational area, which means transportation. We transform this area into trains, taxi, Uber, Pick Me by going through a transformation process. Even if we take this example, physiological, we need entertainment, education, and spiritual. That's a thing that we need, but it's not to get that end product. We need to go through some transformation process by combining capital and entrepreneurship, land, labor, and we combine everything, and then we give the output as school or temple. That's what we call this transformation process. And even in the informational sector, communication, even though we need communication, we do not have this end product. So through this transformation process, we get TV and services like telecom. Define which type of output it is. There are mainly two types of outputs, whether it can be a service and it can either be a product. And there are some processors that are both goods and services. We will look into that. And what are the things that we need to necessarily have if it's going to be a good? For it to be a good, it needs to be tangible. You need to touch that. Okay, so let's take two examples for a good and a services. For goods, I'm taking a computer. That's a machine, that's a computer. And for a service, we can get haircut. And we can touch the computer, so it is tangible, but we cannot touch the haircut. That's a service. We cannot touch the entertainment provided by cinema, which is also a service. And then storability. Goods can be stored, which means we can store our computer, but we can't store our haircut. And then simultaneity. Simultaneous means occurring at the same time. Goods are often produced prior to customers consume them. We produce the computer, we go and buy the computer from a shop, which is produced. But the services are consumed while they are being produced. Again, the example of a haircut. We are in a salon and they are doing the haircut in front of us, which means simultaneously. At the same time, they are doing the haircut. And then transportability. We can transport the computer from one place to another place due to their tangibility. But a haircut, we can't transport. We can't touch the hair or transport that. And the visibility of production. Level of visibility means how much we can see the process. For example, same example, the computer. Do we know how this computer was made, how this was assembled, which steps that have we taken to make this computer? No, the visibility of the production process is not that clear. It's low visibility. Most of the time, we only can see the end product from a supermarket when we are buying goods. It's just the end product. But when it's a service, get the haircut, we can see from the beginning of the service what are the steps that are involved in this haircut. When they are washing your hair, then when they are trimming your hair, when they're combing your hair, you can see every step of the production. So services, the visibility is high since they are produced and consumed simultaneously. And the quality of the operation, we can judge. For example, mobile phones. We can say an iPhone, there is iPhone 11, 12, and 15. And you can, from the from the evidence, you can judge that iPhone 15 is better than iPhone 11. That there's a standard, that we can clearly judge the quality of this product. But for haircut, we can't judge the quality. Most of the time, you can, but it's difficult. It's very opinion based. That could be depends on person to person. A haircut that I like may not be the haircut that someone else like. Someone may say that it's a good haircut, but that's not really my type. So the quality of service is difficult to judge. In here you can see, for a product to be a good, there are two types of product, good or service, an output to be 100% good, that need to be tangible, storable, production precedes consumption, low visibility, transportable, and quality is evident. But an output to be a service, it need to be 100% the opposite of this, which means intangible, not storable, and likewise. But there can be some goods, there can be some outputs that are not 100% goods and not 100% service. And here, sugar production, sugar is 100% good. That's tangible, storable, transportable, low visibility, quality is evident. But for legal advices, a law firm, you can take a lawyer. That's a service. There's nothing tangible, nothing storable. It's all intangible. There's high visibility, not transportable. You can't transport an advice. The quality is difficult to judge from lawyer to lawyer. And there are some things in between. For example, restaurant. In a restaurant, 50% is service, 50% is the good. That's why you have service charges mentioned in the restaurant bill, and then a separate bill, and then they mention separately for the food. That's the goods you receive, and service, that's the services they receive. That's 50-50. And even for air travels, even though air travels is mostly services, you can receive some goods during air travels, such as small gift for kid and meals during the air travel. So it's mostly services, but there can be goods as well. What about McDonald's? Is it a service or production organization? There's an article you can read in here, but if we take McDonald's, basically it's both. McDonald's provide you goods such as burgers, french fries, and everything, and also services, because there's a cashier, that's a restaurant. You can dine in there, you can go and take takeaway or dining. So when you're dining, they're providing a service. So we can consider McDonald's as a both service or production organization. Levels of operational management. There are mainly 3 levels. Operational level, that's the lowest level. Short term, which are the weekly production schedule or allocation of workers for machines. Some day-to-day decisions. You have come through across these 3 levels in other modules, but even in operation management, it's operation level, the lowest level, and the functional. You can call tactical level, the management level. They are for not too short, not day-to-day decisions, not too long decisions. It's medium-term decisions, production plan for 6 months, HR plan for next quarter. Such decisions are taken at the tactical level, such as logistics, synergies with other activities, technical aspects, and then the strategic goal, where the directors are at. They take the long-term capacity planning process selection. They decide on mission and vision and the financial resources that the company have. That are we going to start another production line? Those big decisions, those big deals are taken at the strategic or long-term planning level. And here we can see the operational management in organizational chart. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, there are mainly three parts: marketing, finance, and then operations. That's what we in here, since it's a manufacturing plant, the operations are done by the plant manager. So under plant manager, he or she is carrying out production control, purchasing, manufacturing, quality assurance, engineering support, and finance is financial management side. Marketing is the marketing manager side. By combining these three, the company can achieve the competitive advantage. And here, this is the OM in the organization chart for a service sector. Previously, it was for the manufacturing sector, and here it is the service sector. And this example is specifically about airlines company. So for the operations manager, that person is in charge of engineering, maintenance, ground operations, and flight operations. That person is overviewing all these things, and then the sales or marketing function and the finance function. Product and service classification. There are three types. Make to order. Make to order means made to customer specification after order is received. When customer says, for example, let's say you're going to a tailoring shop. The customer is saying that I need this dress according to this way, this type. And when the customer specifications are given, then the tailor is going to make that dress according to the customer specification. That is what you call make to order. And then makes the stock, made in anticipation of demand. If it's an ice cream company, they anticipate the demand in December and then in the month of April. The ice cream demand for month of April would probably be high because the temperatures are high. And in December, the demand would be probably low because of the climate changes. And that's what we call make to stock. They anticipate the demand, then they are making make to stock. And then assemble to order. Assemble to order means add options according to customer specification. For example, we can take Dell laptops. So they have made the Dell laptops, but the customer can choose what type of hard disk I'm going to use, which color, which type of monitor, some basic things. They have made the main component, but the customer can add some specification. There is a car brand, and even in that car brand, there's the car. They have made the car, the company made the car, but the customer can specify. This color would be nice. A pink color car with red coloring, something like that. The customer is specifying. So then the company is assembling according to the order. That's what we call assemble to order. And here we can see dimensions of operation. If we are going to produce a low volume, then there will be low repetition. Each staff member performs more of job, less systemization, and high unit cost. For example, if you are making only one car, then then there is no use of hiring more staff. Then each staff member is responsible of everything by assembling the car, painting the car, doing the interior, everything. And that would be a high unit cost. But if you are making a large volume of cars, then the repeatability is high because they are making the same car over and over. And specialization, there's a specialized group for do the painting, and then there's another specialized group for doing the interior of the car, and there's another specialized group for doing the assembling part. And it's capital intensive systemization. There's a proper system, and then low unit cost. That's what we call economies of scale when we are producing in a large volume of product. And then the variety. When there's a high variety, it's actually hard. For example, if there are chocolates, then there are high variety. There need to be separate machines for put cashews, and for some chocolate you need to make it cashew-less, and then for peanuts you need to add peanuts for some chocolates. Some for chocolates it's raisins. So the process is complex, but it's flexible. If a person doesn't like peanut, then he or she can choose the raisins one. So the operation is flexible, but it's complex, and it matches customer needs. That's what I told before. If a person doesn't like raisins, then the person can choose cashew and go with another option. But the high unit cost, because chocolate to chocolate, it differs. But when the variety is low, it's well defined. It's just, if it's caramel type of chocolate, it's everything is caramel. It's routine, it's standardized, it's regular, and low unit cost. It's just caramel. You don't need to add cashew for one chocolate, peanuts for one chocolate, and caramel. It's just caramel because the variety is low. And variation in demand. When there's a high variation in demand, it's hard because we can't anticipate the demand. The capacity is changing. Anticipation is hard. We can't predict. And then there's high flexibility, but there's also in touch with demand and also high unit cost. But when the variation is in demand is low, it's stable, it's routine, it's predictable, and high utilization. We can utilize all our products to the best maximum capacity because we know the demand, because there are less variations in demand, and there are also low unit costs. Visibility. When the visibility is high, which means when you can see the production process, what's going on in these operations, there's short waiting tolerance. Let's first see when there is low visibility. When you don't know what the process is, what the operations are, then there can be a time lag between production and consumption. The customer don't know how long it will take for this production to end when the visibility is low. And it's standardized, low contact kills, high staff utilization, centralization, low unit cost. When the visibility is low, it's easy to make it centralized in a factory with low unit cost and centralized making. But when the visibility is high, there will be high unit cost. When you need to make everything visible, when you need to show how this process is done, how the operations are doing, then there must be obviously a high unit cost. And the receipt variety is high, customer contact skill needs, customer perception, satisfaction covered by customer perception. There can be problems from customers when the visibility is high, even though from the customer sides, that's what they actually expect. And in the next slide, we have the positioning of operations. This is actually what an operation manager or the operation function need to decide when they are launching a product, when they are going to start a product. Here you can see a budget hotel and a resort hotel. The volume, variety, variation, visibility is not the same for the two types of hotels. And we need to carefully identify what is the suitable volume for the budget hotel, what is the suitable volume for the resort hotel. If we mix these things up, which means if we didn't do the operation management correctly, then there can be some problems. We can't do it as a budget hotel, because in here we are attracting a different set of customers. In here we are attracting a different set of customers. So we need to focus how the variety can be, how the variation, how the visibility, how the volume would be. For example, take variety. For a budget hotel, the variety is low. It's just probably just a room where you can sleep and then you can rest. But in a resort hotel, the variety is high. There can be different types of rooms by the lake, rooms by the ocean, rooms with private pools, rooms by the jungle. There can be different names, deluxe rooms, different types of rooms, master bedrooms and everything, king size rooms. So such as variation variety is high in a resort hotel, but in a budget hotel that is low. That's it for the first lecture. Thank you.